Sure.
Yes.
All right, good. So it's call to order for the public forum session for the Hammond Historic District Commission for Friday, May 19th, 2023. Do you have the verification of meeting notice? Noted, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ryan Falk,
Present?
Jessica Shirey,
Present.
Regina Delon,
Present.
Donna Knicius, Jennifer White, Robert Dishler.
Present. All right. Moving on, next item on our agenda is the public forum itself. And it's an ordinance to revise Article 8.1.7 of the Unified Development Code regarding the definition of the properties included in the Hammond Historic District. I think we have a map of the properties that is available. We've printed, as well as and the properties in blue are the ones in question that would be affected by the updated language
For reincorporation.
for reincorporation into the district. And that is, and this language update is based on an interpretation that was made several years ago with respect to the term facing that's currently used in our description. As a point of reference, the original intent of our ordinance definition was to include everything that abutted or the perimeter of the district, to include those properties within the district. However, the word facing that was used in that definition was later interpreted to mean only the address of those properties, which effectively removed several properties from, effectively from the district. So this ordinance language change is in effect to revert back to that original intent. And Heather, if you wouldn't mind reading the full language, currently what our current definition and what the proposed language.
Do you want me to
would
just
be.
read the proposed ordinance, because it does include both? It starts
Yes.
off with what it is and then what we're asking it to be.
Yes, please.
Okay. Whereas upon the request of the Hammond Historic District Commission and upon the recommendation of the Hammond Planning and Zoning Commission, that the definition of the historical district as found in the UDC 8.1.7 that reads as follows. So this is the old definition, the current definition. The historical district above designated shall include all building sites or lots and all structures, houses, or other buildings facing any of the streets on the perimeter of the area. And it should be changed, or proposing to change it to, the historical district above designated shall include all building sites or lots and all structures, houses, or other buildings on a building site or lot touching any of the streets on the perimeter of the area. It is the intent of this definition to include all properties which are diagonally opposite, catty corner, end from the intersection of streets on the perimeter of the area.
Thank you very much. Also, as part of this effort, we sent letters to each of the property owners and to both the property address as well as the registered address of the owner, correct?
Correct. So what was done was for the actual physical properties, a letter with a map attached to the back of it explaining about the public forums and what we are trying to achieve with the language change was physically posted at the address of the properties.
Okay.
And then I went onto the Tangi Assessor site and found each one of the property owners and sent certified letters to each one of them.
Okay, thank you.
And also the like the sub owner, if it's like in an LLC.
Correct, like on an
you send it to
LLC, I went
individual
to
owners.
the Secretary of State's website and looked up the LLC and also sent letters to the register agents. So
Good.
Right.
That's
we,
an extra level.
we currently have on this 22 properties, which isn't accurate in the fact that 2 of those properties are now already considered facing, so we actually had 20 properties.
Okay,
But in all of that, I sent out 29 letters.
okay.
So, and I believe I've gotten about 15 or 18 green cards back. I haven't checked the mail as of yet today, but I've got them all in here, so
Okay.
I haven't counted them to see exactly how many there are.
So if you don't get the green card back, that means that it wasn't deliverable or they refused it? Or do you get something back saying they refused?
So if it's non-deliverable, I would
You get it
actually
back.
get the envelope back with the green card still attached to it. Now, again, it's the U.S. Postal Service, so there's always a chance that I'm just not gonna receive something in return. I have every single one of my green
The receipts.
receipts of ones that were sent out and stamped on the day that they were mailed. So
Which was what date?
I don't have them
Okay,
on me
just-
right now. It's
Okay.
been approximately 3 weeks ago that it was done,
Okay.
so.
So it's a
It's been
significant
time enough to be getting the card, yeah, getting the cards back, yeah.
And you haven't had any that were refused?
So far, no. All I've received back are cards that have been signed.
Okay. And in the last public forum, we had one individual of the public that attended. And I think you had mentioned that you'd only received 2 or 3, I think, people reaching out to you,
I received,
asking questions.
2 people reached out to me. One was Brian Gorhees
Right.
from Emery and James over here on the corner of Cherry and East Morris. And his inquiry was just that the map was hard to read that was attached to the letter that he received, and wanted to know exactly where his property was located in reference to the historic district. So I emailed him back with circling his property so that he knew exactly where that was. The other one was Mr. Joe Wong contacted me because his apartment buildings, I believe, is at Parkside
It's
Garden.
next to Parkside.
Adjacent to
Okay,
Parkside.
Jason, we're on the corner of Oak and
Rob.
Robert.
Right.
And he just wanted to know if any of the current permits that he had in place would be affected if this went into effect. And he was also very excited about becoming a part of the historic district, and even asked if we had any suggestions for the color of paint while he was doing his renovations. So
Wow.
that was.
Yeah, that's
the
good
2 people.
feedback.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you haven't received anything since our last public forum on Tuesday evening?
Nothing at all. No phone calls, no emails, no nothing.
Okay. And we are live streaming today?
We are,
As well?
yes.
Okay. So anyone who could be or would be watching are welcome to reach out to you at the address. Where is that posted? It's on our,
So on our website, it's posted on the letters that were received. Both my office number, cell number, and email address were all posted.
okay,
And then I'm also happy to, my email address is diebold, DIEBOLD _HL @hammond.org.
okay,
Oh.
all right. I guess we'll move on to public input, and we are committed to being here for at least 1 hour.
1 hour. Correct.
There's nobody.
From the call to order, so, and no one's present right now, but
Right.
we'll certainly wait until, because perhaps they're on their way.
Would you like me to give an update while we're sitting here?
That'd be great.
Okay. So I did speak with Andre, our city attorney, this morning regarding our motion.
Okay?
He said that as long as nothing in the motion that is currently in place has changed, then we can resubmit the same exact motion and merely let the council clerk know that additional forums have been held, additional outreach has been done, the process that has taken place to reach out to these individuals, just so that the council will be aware when it goes back on the agenda.
can you provide her with a narrative and with those dates and
Yes.
everything?
And that,
Like a
and that's
little
what-
amendment.
Well, and that's what, exactly what he said. He's like, you don't need to actually amend it, you don't need to do a new
Right.
motion. Send her the motion as it stands, as long as everything on there is correct, language-wise. And just give her,
It's
like what you said, give her a narrative
Right,
in the email that when you send it of, this is what the council asked for, this is what we've done, here's, the process that we took to notify the people of the forum, of the change, of everything, and then here are the forums that we held, so.
okay.
And then hopefully, we will be on the agenda for the end of June, is our goal from what we discussed at the retreat.
Good, so we have no motion that we have to make in order to send this back to the council.
Correct.
So our due diligence is complete after today,
Yes, because it was, according to Andre, the fact that it was tabled, there is no length of time that would make a motion stale, so.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good point to know.
Yeah.
It's good to know. It definitely, I don't know. That's
As long as nothing's
great
changed
practice.
on it.
Right,
And I mean, I'll be, let's see, let me just see in here. I mean, the only thing that really has changed, I mean, nothing on the language has changed, but as far as the voting on it, we're missing one person, but he was actually absent at the time of the vote anyway.
oh,
So I don't believe that that has any effect whatsoever.
It was and we have some different, well, Sean is no longer on the commission, but it doesn't matter.
No.
It was a dutiful commission. It wasn't.
Right,
correct.
yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for that update, Heather.
So who keeps reminding them that it's there waiting to go on the agenda?
We just have to notify the council clerk because they've been, up
Put it back
until
on
this
the
point, they're
agenda.
waiting on us to take action.
But we need to follow up prior to the deadline date to get on the agenda every time they have an agenda meeting.
Right.
Right, so I was waiting for this last public forum to be completed so that I would have all of the information necessary from public input, et cetera, so that we could move forward with, if nothing needed to change on our motion, to provide that to Lisa, which I will do after this forum,
Yeah.
and with our update and everything, and get put on.
Yeah, sometimes those things just kind of get put in a drawer someplace, so we gotta, I would think we need to tickle them a little bit every time, just.
Well, I think this has been, like Ryan said, it's been a situation where it's been us, where we've put it on the back burner, and now we're bringing it back up
Right.
before them. So it hasn't been that they haven't wanted to deal with it or address it, it's been that it hasn't been brought up for them
Right.
to address.
I mean, we've gone through, we've lost
Do we have a date?
a coordinator.
Well, we're looking at the end of June.
End of
The
June.
second, it would be the,
Let me just put a little note.
it would be the 20th, correct? It would be the meeting.
I believe it's going to be the 27th, would it be the 27th?
Oh, wait, yeah, the 2nd and the 4th, so yeah, the 27th.
Yeah, the 27th of June. If I'm correct on when they meet, I think, because they're,
The second, unless there's like a holiday or they move it, it's the 2nd and 4th
Okay.
Tuesdays of the month.
so yeah, it would be the 27th then. Because the only holiday we're looking at in June is the 19th, where the city will be closed.
Is that for Juneteenth?
Yes. So that shouldn't affect that schedule.
And city council meeting, so we're looking at get it on June 27th, city council meeting agenda in this council chambers at 5:30 on that Tuesday, the 27th.
Correct. And does that have to go, there was already a hearing about it. This is going back before the council for the vote.
Right, it doesn't have to go back before planning and zoning again.
No, I meant, because there's a two-step
Introduction.
process.
There's an There's an introduction first, and then
Right.
there's a public hearing and the vote. So like you have to introduce it. which-
Right, and, yeah,
I
so
can't remember
it was
if we only-
it was introduced on October 27th.
Right.
It was voted on or tabled on November 9th
So
of
technically,
2021.
So it just goes back as old business.
Correct, so I don't
that.
believe there needs to be a new
Unless they feel
introduction.
more comfortable of doing it that way.
I can ask Lisa about that when I
And
send her the
wouldn't-
email.
I mean, it is what it is.
Because none of the council members have changed either, so it's not like we have anybody new on the council that would
Right.
need to be brought up to speed.
The only reason why I would say that they may want to do that is for their own vetting and due diligence.
Right.
Because if there is somebody from the public that wants to appear at the actual city council meeting, they may not be aware of it until
Until it's introduced.
it's discussed on live stream in their home or whatever.
Well, that's,
And
yeah, I mean, leave it to the council clerk to make that decision. I mean, I'm sure she'll take it from there,
Right,
once you give her the information.
yeah, I'll ask her and find out whether or not we have to, because if we're gonna introduce it, honestly, I would request that we introduce it
no,
on,
I'm saying, when I say that, I mean that we would go to council just as it would be voted on that night.
right,
They may, in turn, just as to be prepared, if they say, well, we would like to put this, now that it's not technically
Right.
introduced, but now that we're discussing it again, okay, we're discussing it, people out there, we're gonna put it on, we're gonna table it to vote for the next one, or something like that. I'm just,
well, if that's the case, and that's a concern,
I mean, it's not a concern, it's just
But,
a
I mean,
possibility.
but I mean, I can ask, you know, like I said, I'm gonna send everything to Lisa today. If I send everything to her, do you want me to ask whether or not she
It's a
thinks it
council
should be? Okay, it's gonna be a council decision. So I'm just asking, do you want me to try to move it up to the 13th as opposed to the 27th, in case that they do make that suggestion?
I don't think
Doesn't-
it's here nor there. I mean,
doesn't
we've been
really
a
make-
year and a half, we can go another 2 weeks,
So if they did do that, then the next one would be July 11th. Okay.
that's fine.
But that's certainly their call. I
Right.
mean, we're not going to push for that.
Right,
And we're not gonna push against it either.
no.
Yeah.
It's not.
Pleasure of the council. Right? Is that the term?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we will sit tight for now. And since and we have no other discussion on the agenda to take place, then we can just wait and see if anyone decides to join us. Seems like we had a lot more to say. Oh, well, George was, yeah, was here, so we had a little bit more to talk about.
We were on Zoom, yeah, that's what, we didn't do, I don't think we did
That's-
live stream from here, but we did
No,
the Zoom
we did it
ones.
from wherever we were.
Yeah.
Because it was the middle of COVID.
And we did 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that.
We talked to each other.
We did.
But I think that was something that you had to get on. We knew if somebody would have been on there.
Right.
This is a little bit different.
That's right.
we don't know who's watching.
Which is a little strange.
It feels very, ominous, like. I actually looked at it the other day, and I think it had like 50 views or something.
Really?
When did you turn it on, like after we do that roll call, or at that
Before.
point? He did.
It's probably on a couple minutes before we actually call to order.
We got one person watching right now. Started screaming.
You.
No, they started screaming, but maybe it is me. I started screaming 19 minutes ago, so it makes sense, I guess it is me. Zach doesn't count back there, so.
If you want, I can get on and we can have 2.
if they had any concerns or questions, would have come to the first one. Just because of the time
Right.
and they had ample notice of
Mhm.
others, so.
Because we're just sitting here, I'm hungry.
I have,
Now I'm thinking about, what are we gonna have for lunch?
I have
Um,
a little bag of pretzels, they're probably crushed.
What I'm, since we don't need a quorum to
Crackers.
vote, I may leave a little early. My daughter's going out of town with a friend, and I want to see her before she leaves, since my wife is out.
We don't need we're not voting on anything.
Where's she going?
Basically, just need one person.
Pretty okay.
Oh, nice.
Want pretzel? I don't know they're any good.
I've had these before. They're actually pretty good.
I think these might be actually stale. You might not want to eat it.
A little, all right.
It's one of those things you keep in your bag.
Pretty okay.
For an emergency?
I didn't think about
I keep
rotating
stuff
it.
in
They're
my
just going for the-
backpack, because I fly so much, I'll have like this stuff from Southwest, a little snack.
I do the same thing. Well,
Yeah.
like
I'm
if,
up for peppermint.
I bring this bag whenever I go to, oh, these are all crushed. When I go to, like, court. So cause these are probably melty. But
A couple of weeks from now, next weekend.
cause you can't, sometimes they'll break for lunch and sometimes they won't. And sometimes they'll jump docket numbers or whatever. It's like,
Then you're starving.
sometimes I might be like fourth on the docket and thinking, oh, I'm gonna get done early.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there till 4 or 5 o'clock.
Oh, my God.
Oh, look at that, I just got that in the mail. Yeah, talking about Southwest, look, there's some Southwest, things, some cough drops. You never know what you might get, oh, I have butane for some reason.
That's
Oh,
random.
I know, you know what I have that from? It is. From, I had I forgot to take this thing out. It was a good thing I noticed that, because I probably couldn't fly with that. I would have noticed it before I flew.
I didn't
Torch.
think you could fly.
The torch thing, you know, you have to refill it with butane,
Mm-hmm.
like to brown.
For flame?
Like, yeah, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
We keep those in Fume, because they'll recharge. If you buy a lighter from us, they'll recharge them.
Yeah. Probably should clean this back out. Not today.
just gave us 4 clinical journals to review for our staff meeting next week. I read them this morning with a summary. But I gotta make a few notes on them.
I couldn't imagine that for part of my career. To go through dental school, I used to be a reader. Like, I love reading. Like, just fiction, getting lost in books. When I went to dental school, it just completely burned me out of reading.
Mm-hmm.
That's how law school is for me.
I like reading for fun, but
I don't even like to read on a plane anymore.
Well, and I think that part of it is because I was always a fast reader, like a reader, because you get lost, like you're reading it, you're in the adventure, you're in the whatever it is. And whenever you're reading something and it's so technical, you have to read it so thoroughly. Because
Yes.
if you skip over a word, it's a big deal. It's not a, well, that doesn't make sense. Let me go back and read it. It's like you didn't screw something up.
well, yeah, this is all cancer-related information, so it's
You
like,
have to be-
sometimes my mind goes off and I'm not really listening. I'm not really listening.
Yeah.
I'm reading it, but I'm not paying any attention to it.
Right.
So I have to go back and read it,
Yeah.
because I got lost on page 4 of the physics information.
And that's exactly what,
Right.
like I said, going through, it was just so, and it's almost like a Pavlov's response. I will want to fall asleep. If I sit in a dental chair, I get tired immediately. If I start reading, I get tired immediately. I'm like, it's like narcolepsy.
Right.
Yeah, we had, that was downtown. I was gonna say, I'm looking at it right now, the YouTube thing, cause I watched, like the DDD meeting and stuff. I already watched, or looked at opened up the one from before.
Mm.
This was from the design committee meeting on May 4th, but I watched there was a DDD meeting Wednesday night.
Mm.
That's why I had pulled it up originally, and I was like, let me see if I can find us. On there.
So somebody put the microphones to work with me the other day.
Yeah, they do a little bit more on that, that shows where they are. I was in the right place, I just couldn't find exactly where it was, it's kind of hidden back in there, but now I have. It's a switch, yeah. tripod thing.